Deci vizita de astăzi e a jurnalistilor la sediul din Budapesta al Invitel. Este practic un moment prin care dorim să marcăm 10 ani de internet, de continuitate în internet pentru firma noastră. Suntem o firmă cu apartenență europeană. Speech-ul și prezentarea CEO-ului Martin League al Invitel, plus vizita în Network Operating Center-ul internațional care gestionează tranzitul internațional pe tot grupul, au fost parte a demonstrației noastre vis-a-vis de apartenența la un grup profesional, la un grup puternic de telecomunicații european.
We're going to have a brief presentation and I'm going to talk a little bit about the group as a whole. So you can see where Euroweb in Romania fits into our organisation and tell you a little bit about our business. And then after that, Gregg Betz, who's responsible for all of our international operations, is going to talk with you. This is a bit complicated, and I don't know if you can see it at the back, but I wanted to just try and explain the history behind this company and also to see where Euroweb Romania got involved in this group. There were two main organisations that actually came together in 2007. One was the original Invitel and the other was the original HTCC. And both of these businesses started in Hungary back in the early 90s when the government here in Hungary sold off lots of small concession areas. So there were parts of the geography in Hungary that people could come and bid and to get the license to be the local telephone company. So we started life back in the 90s, and Invitel had 4 concession areas and HTCC had 5 concession areas. So these were pieces of Hungary where these companies were the incumbent operators. And then gradually Invitel acquired some more concession areas and built a network outside those concession areas in the rest of the country. Then HTCC acquired a company called Contel, which was an alternative operator in Hungary. So what happened was both of these companies ended up being partly operators in the historical concession areas and partly alternative operators in the rest of the country. And we'll look at what that means in a minute. But then in 2006, the old Invitel bought Euroweb, and Euroweb included Euroweb Hungary and Euroweb Romania, and that's how Euroweb became part of this overall group. And then 2007, these two companies came together, and as we saw, the holding company is HTCC, but we operate under the Invitel brand. And then since that time, we acquired Tele2's business here in Hungary, and we acquired Memorex, which was the leading wholesale operator in the region. So that's a very quick look at the history.
Vreau să prezent în românește. Laurențiu a vrut dar o să fie prea dificil pentru mine. Cred că mai târziu astăzi, când am avut niște pahar de vin, putem să vorbim. So I'll do my presentation in English. That was about the most I could do. I worked for a number of years in Romania. Actually, my first job in telecom over 9 years ago today was to be involved in the initial acquisition of the company that was the predecessor to Euroweb. So the company that we purchased, Mediator in Romania, that was my first job as I was working for a company called Euroweb International. That company was owned majority by KPN. Another company that was mentioned, Pantel, was also majority owned by KPN, and I was working for both of those companies to help them in the region. So from end of 1999 and mainly from 2000 up until 2002, I lived in Bucharest. So that was a very exciting opportunity for me. And I enjoyed it, very challenging and very exciting times. I enjoyed it very much. And so, as Martin mentioned, several years ago when Invitel purchased Euroweb, so there was about a year or so where I was not involved, when Invitel purchased Euroweb and then subsequently Pantel and Invitel came together, I had the very exciting opportunity to come back and work with Laurenţiu and Tavi and the rest of the gang in Euroweb. So somehow I feel like Euroweb is a very close part to my heart, and I'm very excited to be here today. I can't believe the company is 10 years old. Time has certainly flown by. Maybe a few words just on Euroweb. My main job today is to tell you about Invitel International. But when Euroweb started, it started as a startup company. So we'll talk a little bit about the growth that these companies are seeing. But where Euroweb is at now, and in the first half of this year we had turnover of over 6 million euros, and quite a profitable company at that, with the growth of over 23% year on year from this year to last year. But maybe what's interesting is that it's had a steady growth all through the last 10 years, because we started as a small startup company, basically, when the two companies came together. A company called Rocknet and Mediator came together to form Euroweb Romania, which was the first job that I had the excitement and pleasure to work with in telecom. The turnover in the first year, we did somewhere around €500,000, if I recall correctly, and that's grown today to the type of company that you see today. That's quite a profitable company, one of the leaders in Romania. So the fact that you've all come here to Budapest, which I'm from New York originally, but Budapest is my adopted home, so to have all you come up here today is very exciting. And I look forward to practice my Romanian, which is a bit rusty this evening once I've had some way to relax and had a few drinks. So I'm looking forward to that. So we can go on and tell you a little about it in Invitel International. So the main reason I wanted to show you an organizational chart, first and foremost, I wanted to show you that Euroweb Romania reports into our organization. And mainly this organization is involved in international business, international wholesale business, also some international retail business, so retail business to business on an international level, and wholesale business, so that means selling to other carriers. And when Euroweb Romania started, the main focus of Euroweb Romania was this kind of wholesale business. It means that providing capacities to companies like Rom Telecom, to companies like RDS, to companies like Orange, to European educational networks, to large corporate companies. These were the first big businesses of Euroweb Romania. This is what enabled Euroweb Romania to be the first real profitable internet company in Romania. Most of the other companies were focusing on small B2B and dial-up business. By focusing on these largely larger businesses and quite profitable business, Euroweb Romania became a profitable company already by the second or third year, I guess, of its existence, and that profit has grown ever since then. So that's something that we're very proud of.